Yep, we've got the ready. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, I'm endorsing a new cola,
All right.
kids. And this one
Looks like
isn't
we're in.
poisonous to anybody. That we know of. New and improved Buzz Cola
Awesome.
There they go.
There we go. Usually we don't watch the cutscene typically, but I mean typically in races I think we do. With Char speedruns, just because it's like kind of tradition.
We gotta make sure that we get as much story as possible throughout the whole run, except for everything that we skip.
Yes, of course. There's 3 cutscene skips in the run. For anyone that hasn't seen Char runs before, our all story mission runs is the category. There's 3 cutscene skips. One is in part 1, one is in Apu, and one is in part 2 later on in the run. And the concept is just to pause on the correct frame. If you don't, you lose quite a lot of time.
Yes. So the matchup today is LiquidWifi, an Australian runner, also the world record holder, who just broke the world record 2 days ago, with a time of 1:20 something, and Derek, who is, I believe, currently in 3rd place. Who's an
I'm not sure.
American
That sounds
runner.
about right. Yeah.
Great matchup, both outstanding runners. They also recently went head to head in the annual Char ASM tournament, and Derek took both of those matches, so Liquid's looking to get a little bit of revenge here on his home turf.
Yeah, he does have a bit of a lead right now. I think he was a bit behind during the first split, but he's caught up.
Just slightly.
Yeah, he should be about a second ahead. Usually in the first level, there isn't too much that could go wrong. I think both runners will opt to use the Plow King in the mission after this, which can be a little difficult, but we'll see how it goes. That's pretty much the biggest strat in the first level.
Derek actually missed a box already, which is not very good, so he's 31 coins down.
Oh yeah, coins are really important, especially in all story missions or ASM.
And at the top level times, coins are everything.
Yeah, when you miss coins that are fast, you really got to go out of your way. And it doesn't seem like much, but at the level that these guys are at, it's quite a lot, and it adds up. Both of them looking pretty good so far this level. This would be Heady Theft. Just had to make sure I was right. I'm a little tired.
Liquid still looks to be just slightly ahead.
So one thing to note is Liquid, I believe, plays on a higher FPS. So going around turns like that and launches in general save a little bit more time. Both of them are playing on quite high FPSs though. I think Derek plays on 150 and Liquid opts to play on 200.
Yes. Liquid plays on 200 mostly for the late game. Homer 2 he does a lot of very interesting but very hard strats that save a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited to see what he opts to do in Homer 2. Liquid does a lot of the, I guess, some of the hardest strats. He does have world records. He's allowed to do them. They get quite interesting when they go wrong, but they're really cool. Some it's just ways to get out of bounds to deliver the waste faster. I won't spoil it too much. It's a lot of fun.
Liquid actually missed. There was 2 boxes and a wasp. They're supposed to get, but he takes it kind of risky, and he actually missed a box, so evens up the coin count a bit.
So one thing to note here is Liquid is pushing. It's kind of a cool strat actually. Call it the Lenny push, I guess. You just want to push Lenny closer to Barney, or what Derek does is he pushes him closer to the phone booth, which is a little easier to do. And what it does is you get an enter skip storage. So when you go to a phone booth, essentially, and you exit the phone booth after picking a car, and you click a camera change button, it stores a camera pan skip. So the next time there's a camera pan, you can skip it, and it saves quite a bit of time. So we'll see that here when they mission warp after the split on Derek's end.
And both runners going for the Plow King, which is faster for the destruction, but the next mission's going to be a little bit iffy with the Wasp. And both of them get a strat for Smithers.
I think Liquid tries to go for a bit of a faster cycle here to even out the fact that he doesn't go for ESS. Looks like he might just make it.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice. And if you notice, Derek was able to skip the camera pan. Saves him a little bit of time over Liquid, but I think loses a bit of time overall. But it's slightly easier to do.
Yeah, it should be a second to the actual mission that he loses.
Flying Big Brother's pretty straightforward mission as long as you don't fall. Now we have the next unskippable cutscene.
Bearded cartoon creator incarcerated in a Peruvian jail. In other news, local citizens are outraged over the discovery of surveillance cameras throughout the town.
So as you can see, both of them are switching out of the Plow King and getting ESS at the same time, so they can skip the camera pan to the next mission when they mission. But we'll probably see that a lot more, so I'll stop pointing it out eventually.
In other unexplained news, strange black vans have been appearing all over town.
Yeah, so now we just sit through this cutscene, minute long, nothing you can do.
You're so sexy when you're
Maybe one day we'll find a way to skip these. I like them though. It's time to relax during your speed run. You can sit back, crack your knuckles, take a drink.
Because a lot of this mission is just constant driving, not a lot of downtime. Can get kind of stressful. So you take all the little times you can.
So one thing to note, and it's especially evident in follow missions like this, is when the runners flick their cameras back and look backwards, they're trying to despawn the cars in front of them, so that either it gets out of their way, or in this mission it's a little more evident. As you can see, he's kind of despawning the cars so that the black van doesn't crash into them.
Yeah, this will become a lot more useful in later missions, also, in later levels. There's some specific spots where traffic will almost always spawn. If you don't try and despawn it, you're just gonna run into them and lose milliseconds.
There's all sorts of little tiny manipulations that the runners are doing to make sure the black van does not crash. They're slowing down, as you can see here on Derek's end, he slows down a little bit for the power plant, and that way the car does not crash as he takes this turn here, going around the jump, and Derek's taking the jump, so he can stay extra close to him so he goes fast. I think the faster the black van goes, the closer you are to him, and vice versa. I'm not 100% sure.
Yes, because of rubber banding. So if you're farther away, the black van will slow down to help you keep up. And if you go too far ahead, he'll slow down also, because it's not perfect.
Sounds right. I think they have pretty similar coins. Liquid was able to kick both of the wasps, but I don't know if he was able to get all of the coins for them.
He was able to get most of them.
So this will be one of the more straightforward missions, Bone Storm. Just want to get the drops from the van, and it really saves a lot of time if you're able to take the shortcut here to Liquid's left. It looks like he will. barely be able to make it. Ideally, you want to get the last drop a little sooner. See, Derek actually might, and it saves a little bit of time.
Yeah, their coins are very similar. Derek's was basically the same place.
If only.
I'm so talented and good looking. Can you come and get... Hey, Homer. It's crashing
So this
time.
is a neat trick in the last level of Homer 1, excuse me. So instead of driving all the way around the power plant, which is blocked off during the race, you can just reset your car there, do a little U-turn, and drive straight to the end of the mission.
You're not gonna get more.
I have no clue how long this has been known for. Do you have any idea, Bam?
Long time.
Long before our ages of running this game, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's pretty standard at this point.
Yeah, even beginning runners do it. It's a very, very simple trick. Just,
See, Montgomery.
if you hit the wall, reset your car, you'll make it through 100% of the time. Which just has to do with car resetting mechanics and the way that roads work.
Fine by me.
Yeah, there's a lot of car
Yeah,
resetting
sounds right.
that we do.
Cool for school.
Liquid is looking for a sports car, but he didn't get that lucky. So the way it works in part 1 is the honor roller is a little slower than the sports car, and I think the taxi is actually faster as well. So he was looking for one of those, probably the sports car. He didn't find it, as Derek is able to find one. And it just saves time because it has faster acceleration and there's lots of little turns in the first couple levels.
Smell you later, Stinky Gator. The Bartman knows all.
Liquid actually took a tiny bit of a bonk on a wall, but he should be fine. Skinner did not follow him, which is good. Skinner follows you, you have to enter the DMV, and you lose about 15 seconds. It's just not a fun time.
No problemo.
So Liquid still has a chance here to get a sports car, which is nice. And he does.
I'll never lose
Think
these
Derek
lucky
barely
optimally.
escaped.
Oh, nice. I wasn't watching that.
Yeah.
So we do have a backup if you don't escape Skinner there. You can just park in front of the DMV, which is just before completing the mission, and you can walk in and out, and it loses about 10 seconds.
All mine.
It's kind of
10 to 15,
RNG
yeah.
whether he follows you or not. I'm not sure if there's been any way ever found to stop him from following you.
Um,
I mean,
Also,
you can get him stuck, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
another thing to note about the interiors of the game is they're a separate part of the level, so they're not right where they say they are. They're basically the other side of the map.
Oh yeah, if you use cheats and you go out of bounds, you can drive along and find the interiors eventually.
Yeah, they're very far away, which is why we're able to escape cars that way. It's used only a few times, once in March. But if you enter an interior, any car that's following you that's close is going to be instantly escaped, which is kind of useful.
Yeah, I think the only really use for it in a speedrun sense in the game is 2-1. Is there any other missions that it's used for, maybe?
4-7, the end of March.
Oh yeah,
The
we'll
escape
show
wagon.
that up as
Yeah.
well, I guess. You escape wagon.
We'll get there.
Saves a little bit of time.
Hey, Jabba.
So Liquid gets a really fast escape, so he's gonna skip the vent, try to get it in sellouts. Even though the vents are a little less coins than the boxes, it all adds up. It's important, especially because they both miss coins overall. Or, not overall, but at the beginning of the level. The run, I'm sorry.
We can
And
get
this
that
is-
wasp as a freebie, which is nice.
Oh yeah, that wasp is kind of luck.
You're all mine.
We'll not explain wasps too much because they are a confusing mess. But basically, you can get 2 wasps with your car. So if you get 2 wasps before main menu warping, then you are good to go. But we
Well, you can, in some levels, you can get 3.
Okay, yeah,
Should we even go that far
no.
into it?
very confusing.
They're quite
topic.
confusing how they work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bart Simpson at your service. It's Bart time.
So I'm sure Liquid will go for a cool strat here called Dirt Jump, where essentially you want to. Actually, Bam, you want to take this one?
Sure. So the black van, we can manipulate where he goes by waiting a little bit, and if he tries to go right at this jump coming up, we can actually push him over um, just by sitting there and not letting him go to the right, which
Kinda
Liquid does
lead him onto the
perfectly.
ramp. Yeah.
It can be a tricky strat. You can lose a lot of time if you don't do it right. But both runners, beautiful. Just shoots right through, doesn't get stuck on anything. Cars don't take damage, which is also nice.
So what's nice to see is I don't think since the early levels in Homer 1 anyone's missed any more coins.
No,
I could be wrong on that.
they
Both of
haven't.
them are looking pretty solid since then.
Liquid accidentally got
Oh.
walking through walls, which he's gonna show.
Nice. I don't know if this was an
Wait, is
accident. I don't
I-
think this was an accident.
no, probably not. Basically,
I
there's
think
some
it's a
things where you
consistent
can.
thing after the mission. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So Liquid just performed a glitch, which is also hard to explain. But he's able to trick the game into thinking that he's in a car, and he's actually not. And so the character doesn't have collision, and you can walk through anything.
It's actually used in Hundo,
Yes.
100% to coin grind, because coins are even more important in Hundo because you have to buy all the costumes and cars, which takes up about 30 minutes of the run, but it saves about 5 minutes overall because you can just walk through walls and break the boxes or kick them rather than walk around the wall. But in this situation, it most definitely lost time.
And Liquid was just doing it for fun, which is great.
I love to see it. I've never seen that before. I don't think that lost all that much time, to be fair.
Maybe 10 seconds maximum. It was not much. Very flashy.
A little bit of a flex.
A little bit. But it's Liquid, what do you expect? Better Than Beef is a pretty straightforward mission here. Collect the drops, go fast.
Go fast, very important in every mission.
You can actually skip a few of the drops and come back to them later, which is slightly faster. Allows you to get an extra wasp also, which is nice. Saves a tiny bit of time.
The end of the mission is a little bit, we'll wait. Oh,
yeah.
Derek getting some strange physics, almost flipping. The Cletus truck can be a bit of a strange car to drive, especially on higher FPSs, which both of the runners are playing on quite high FPSs.
Yes.
Especially when he goes over little ramps and bumps. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. It'll behave nicer on low FPS, like 60. But on 150 and 200, it can sometimes just want to flip on its side, which is annoying.
Derek getting a traffic car pulling in front of him. Luckily, it didn't put him into a wall. So both of them are probably going to go for the gazebo wasp and box here. It can be a little scary, but it's pretty easy. And you get it as you escape at Pooh, which is the fastest way to get it, but is a little scary. You kind of trick him at the Quickie Mart turn, or Krusty Burger turn, not the Quickie Mart, excuse me. And he gets stuck just enough so that you can escape him, get the box and the wasp as a freebie, or like with your car, is what I mean as a freebie.
Yes. Freebie means that you collect the wasp by hitting it with your car.
Yeah, essentially it loses 0 time, so it's free.
Yes.
Oh, Monkeys, this is a fun mission with a great soundtrack. I believe we have the audio on Derek's, or not Derek's, and Liquid's end, so we can hear it. in all its glory.
My favorite song, personally, and one of my favorite missions.
Yeah. So the way we wrote these collect missions are pretty interesting because monkeys is pretty straightforward. We get everything in order, pretty much. But I think as we can see in like 5.5 later on in the run, we get everything kind of out of order, but it's still the fastest way to get it. I guess we'll wait and we'll see that then. I'm not explaining it the greatest, but yeah.
Also, how
And
we're... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, I was gonna point out they both also may menu warped after the last mission, so that they're able to get 2 wasps with their car as freebies.
Yes.
Also saves a lot of time and gets you a lot of coins fast.
One of the ways that we actually denote missions, though, I just realized is we call them by their numbers. So there's 7 total levels, and each level has 7 missions. So 1-1 is level 1, mission 1, or Homer 1, mission 1. So in case we just throw out random numbers, you can kind of follow along.
So Liquid's gonna kick a wasp there because I believe he's already got 2 with his car, and his coins are a little low. He also was able to get. He was a little lucky as he turned after getting, I think, the 20th drop. There was a car that spawned by the Krusty Burger that sometimes spawns in, and it spawns in almost destroyed. So you can hit it with your car and get 10 coins, and you risk getting hit and run and having the cops chase after you. But usually you're fine.
Yeah.
Cars, 10-year-old hitchhiker needs a ride.
We'll use those car bombs later on
I totally rule.
to get extra coins if needed in some follow missions.
Here's your last.
So here's another scenario where both of the runners already have the Plow King, or not the Plow King, Mr. Plow, but they're still using the phone booth anyways before ending the mission so that they have ESS, or enter skip storage. So here on Derek's end, he's gonna mission warp, hit enter, and skip that camera van.
Now, both runners are earning sellouts. This one could be kind of a pain. Sometimes the cars just will not behave, or traffic will get in your way and things will start going wrong. And the cars always spawn in, the next car will always spawn in the same place. So if one car goes wrong, you may not be in the great position to get the next one, and it can spiral out of control very quickly.
Liquid having a very good sellouts here, wow.
Liquid
It's
is a
very
monster at
satisfying to
sellouts.
watch.
Yes.
Hitting
He's
a car
very,
3
very good.
times and destroying it is very hard to do.
This is...
And if you're able to get an earlier destruction on that second car as well, you can pick up that vent that they both ended up skipping in the second mission in part 1. Derek's still also having a solid sellouts, and now Liquid coming up to the cutscene skip, which will actually be a little harder for him because he's on a higher FPS. It's all just really timing and trying to mash, or sometimes pausing on the first frame. Here it is. And he gets it. Nice. So that saves 55 to like 57 seconds because you don't have to watch a cutscene.
So Liquid finished and he had 6:46 on the timer, which is ridiculous. And Derek finished with 6:36 on the in-game timer, so Liquid saved 10 seconds on that sellouts. So sellouts can save you a bunch of time.
So Derek also got it, but he was mashing, trying to get the cutscene skip, and he ended up unpausing it, which is something that happens quite a lot. It's quite frustrating when it happens, but it happens to everyone. I think I did it like 2 times the other day.
It's a very tight window, so if you unpause it, there's no way to repause and get it again.
Yeah, but hey, we get to watch the cutscene, right?
Yeah, more lore. We get to see that there is,
Exactly.
in fact, a Truckosaurus, which is a truck/dinosaur.
Unfortunately, we don't have the audio, but you are correct.
Oh, yeah, that's why I had to say it, because we don't have the audio, so we needed to know what they were saying.
Liquid finishing the mission as Derek finishes watching the cutscene. It's gonna pick up the sports car. Interesting. It is slightly faster to pick up a sports car. Oh, he's actually just picking it up to drive to the phone booth. I wonder if that's faster. I bet
think
it was.
Maybe a tiny bit, because walking is slow, and the sports car's right there.
But this is an interesting mission that Liquid's in, and Derek is coming up to because there's slightly different coin routes that different runners will take, depending on how risky they want to take it. So first, there's the beach coins. I would imagine Liquid's picking up the beach coins because he's a little low. Those are pretty standard. Then you
Liquid
come
will
up
definitely
to
take each one's.
yeah, 100%. Then we come up to the boat, and there's a way to on higher FPS you can clip a pillar, as we're gonna see here. I would imagine he's going for it, and it kind of launches you up into a reset zone by the boat, and it resets your car on top of a boat where there's two boxes that you can pick up.
Yes.
Liquid
It's a finicky
just
trick.
misses it, and his car ended up resetting the wrong way as well. It is kind of frustrating when it goes wrong as well because that looked pretty good to me, but it just unfortunately just didn't work.
He was just slightly too low, actually. So
And also to Liquid's right here, there's the Krusty Lou studio coins as well, where you can get out of your car and spend about 20 seconds picking up, I want to say about 150 coins. So it's also pretty fast per the amount of time that you're wasting. But overall it's pretty
120.
slow and yeah, that was a little off, my bad. But it's pretty fast for the amount of time you're wasting. But at a top level, I would imagine neither of them would ever, ideally want to ever go for it. It wastes about 20 seconds.
yeah, with the boat jump, we'll see if Derek goes for it. But you're just barely clipping the corner of a trigger, so it can look really good, and you'll just be pixels off sometimes, and you won't know where you went wrong.
To know as well, Derek is about 30 coins under what Liquid was after the beach coins. So if he gets boat jump, he's picking up about, oh, that's perfect too. He picks up about 30 coins on him now. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Still about a mission behind, unfortunately, with the cutscene skip. But with the coin advantage, he has a chance, for sure.
Liquid's entering Hellfish. Hellfish is another destruction mission. But first,
Not a fun one.
taking a long time to find a traffic car. He gets a Ute though, which is ideal. So what he's going to try and do is get over some rocks that are blocking a box and a wasp, and he does it perfectly. And so that's 70 coins almost for free, and we have to go there anyways to pick up the school bus from Otto. So very fast.
I should also point out before Derek finishes bonfire, it's kind of a neat strat. It looks really easy, but sometimes traffic can pull in front of you and just make it go horribly wrong, and the only way to save it is to restart the mission. So it's nice to see both of them get the strat before they leave the mission. But yeah, all you really do is bump into Cletus and lead him into a corner and smash into him until you get 15 drops, reset your car, drive to the observatory.
Easy on paper, a little bit tricky on.
It sounds easy. It really is, but when it goes wrong, it goes so wrong. And Liquid coming up to the second sedan here. Key with this is to just smash into him, and he just flips and smashes into the wall, and you hit him, and he blows up.
Yes.
It's kind of a makeshift strat for the second car. I can't really explain why it works, but it works. And Derek was unfortunate to get a what do we call this? The budget Ford Focus, I think is what we call that car. So he's gonna opt to get in the school bus and go over the rocks because it's just a lot easier than using the Ford Focus. It's almost guaranteed to get stuck.
Lisa Simpson at your service.
Ford Focus just doesn't get a lot of lift, over the rocks, but the school bus can get over easily like that. Wastes
Poor
maybe a couple
Focus
seconds. Not bad.
doesn't get enough love.
It's not a good car.
Yeah, it's not a good car, but it's it's I got nothing. It's just I like it. Whenever I get it, I can't be mad. I mean, you get to do like a little. There's a way to save time with it. You can kind of drive over. There's a little bridge by the water, and it saves like a second, but you still lose time because you have to get out of it and drive over the rocks with the school bus. And Derek's flipping over with the school bus. Oh no!
Okay, real quick, while Liquid's here. Oh, he missed the strat. So, what you want to do with Snake is the drops are on a timer, and so they're RNG. What you can do with Snake is you can sit in front of him and stop him at the very start of where he can drop it. And if you hold him there, he will eventually drop it. Liquid was unfortunate in where Snake just went around him. So he wasn't able to stop him, and he dropped it over the bridge, which loses quite a bit of time. It's really annoying.
Derek having a bit of a sketchy last sit-in, but he's able to get him in kind of a backup strat where he just blows himself up and he can get ESS from the phone booth. As Liquid finishes the mission, Derek has a chance to save a bit of time on him because of the RNG and not being able to get that little manip that you do at the end of this mission that Derek's in here. He'll save time surely if he gets it. And Liquid's in fishy deals. Just all you really do in fishy deals is try to get a wasp at the beginning and a box and the rest of the drops. Pretty straightforward mission unless you miss a drop or a traffic car is driving in front of you. Derek gets a strange snake. I'm not sure what happened there. He kind of just crashed and drove sideways in the stairs there. Derek's gonna try to slow him down. Gets a good drop as long as he's able to pick it up before Snake drives away, which he does. That can be a little scary. Snake's going over the dam as you're picking up the drop, and the bar just gets slowly more and more black.
Objective is to not miss any drops. Or not fail any missions is what I meant.
Yeah,
fail
hate to see a mission fail.
If you fail a mission, you have to restart it, and you're losing minutes at that point, and it's just not fun.
So after not this next mission that Liquid's on, but the one after 4-1, the first level of the Marge levels, there's a solid chance that both of them could fail because I think they both go for a strat where you get coins earlier with your car at the very beginning and you have a chance to fail because it's a follow mission and you have to stay close to Wiggum who you're following. So hopefully we don't see any mission fails. I hope I'm not jinxing it.
Alright, Liquid's gonna go for a really fast destruction here by pushing the limo up against the wall in the back, and he gets it very cleanly. That saves a
that's
lot
fast.
of time.
One thing that sets like the mediocre runners away from the good runners, in my opinion, is destruction missions. Like being able to do a destruction mission that fast, and getting that strat is pretty hard in my opinion too.
Yeah, that one's tough.
And being able to do it fast as he falls off the pole, I kind of jinxed it. Gets it second try. It's just very impressive. Only like so many people can do that.
And doing it consistently is really tough.
Yeah, that's another thing.
So it's one thing, if you can reset a mission 50 times and then eventually get it, that's cool, but if you can get it every single run, that's
Here
impressive.
Liquid's going for the neighbor's coins as I was talking about earlier. He gets the wasp and got an extra box actually out of that. I think usually you'd get just one box, but as long as you don't fail, it doesn't really matter. It saves him from picking that box up later. I think Wiggum kind of blocked him from getting a... There's a vent that we also normally grab by the fire truck there, and Wiggum kind of pushed him out of it. And I don't think he wanted to risk failing, so he just decided not to get it.
I don't know.
As
I don't know if he
Derek,
actually risked it.
And then here's the second part of the mission where you get the drops out of the donut truck. This can be frustrating when it goes wrong. Hopefully we don't see that from Derek as Liquid gets the strat. And Derek finishes up after getting, call it fast level, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that. But and he gets the pole jump and he finishes up Lisa. Still about a mission behind. But I mean, you don't really expect him to, because of the cutscene skip miss, to. I think he might have saved a little bit of time with Lisa, which is nice to see. But it's hard to expect him to pull up that much time within one level. Hopefully we see him continue to gain time. Make it a close race. I think most of the chat will probably be cheering for the Aussie runner, to be fair, which is understandable.
Derek actually lost a little bit of time because the cutscene wastes 55 seconds. The donut truck takes about a minute 15, minute 20.
I wanna cheer for the underdog, okay? So Liquid is in 4-2, or what is this called again?
Ketchup logic. No, this isn't ketchup.
Yeah. No, that's the next mission.
Yeah. It's 4-2.
4-2.
It's not to be called by the numbers.
The fourth level, the second mission in the fourth level. Because Derek also gets the strat that we call Donut Fire cleanly. Gets to get out of his car to get the drops, which is perfectly fine. Liquid's gonna try to mini grind a vent. So as long as he mission warps after getting the vent, you can pick up the vent with your car again a second time and get the full amount of coins for it. And he kicks it a first time and gets an extra, anywhere from like 15 to 20, depending on how many he can pick up. I hope I explained that right. It's somewhat the same strategy we use in 100% to get coins. We call it coin grinding later on in the run. So Liquid is going to drive to the Quickie Mart instead of talking to Cletus, because this mission requires an outfit, as some other missions do. I don't think we've pointed out yet. And then he's going to, I believe he will main menu warp, so the rest of the wasps in the level have collision. Yep. And then it'll warp him back to Cletus.
I looked up the split name, and it is Redneck Roundup.
I love how we had to look it up to know what it is. Thanks, man. And Derek's gonna go for a slightly easier grind on this box. Oh, he kind of got strange physics and broke it early. We get that box later in the run also. I think he was planning on kicking it a couple of times like Liquid did with the other box, but
Yes.
the way the Canyonero car got launched kind of launched him into it. I don't think we pointed out the Canyonero in March is probably one of the most hated cars in the community. It is going around turns. It's not very fun to drive. It gets very strange and inconsistent physics the higher the FPS you play on.
Any little angle will just flip you on your side.
The only thing I think you can say that's good about it is that it does a lot of damage. We use it in the last level in March to blow up cola trucks, which are some of the strongest cars in the game, and the Canyonero has no problems blowing it up.
Yes.
So I think Derek got the neighbor's coins early as well, but his coins look really good. Having 938 before warping to 4-3 seems like a lot to me.
Yeah, Derek got the neighbor's coins at the beginning.
Uh-oh, that's the first wee-woo of the run. Liquid has hit and run as the cops are chasing through him at the very end of the mission. able to just squeeze by him. Oh my goodness! And finishes up the level.
Yes. If you get
So
busted
if
by the cops, you lose 50
yeah.
coins. You don't want that.
So essentially, all it takes is if the police car crashes into you and slows you down enough, it will bust you. So it resets your car and costs you 50 coins, as Bam said. So it loses time, and I mean, 50 coins is 50 coins. It's quite a lot.
Just a few more. Oh, I don't have any pockets. Kid
So Liquid's going through Return of the Nearly Dead right now. And it's one of the
And
quickest
oh wow, he's
missions in
done.
the entire game. Yep, that's it. It's just race
That's
Big
it. There it goes.
39 whole seconds for the entire split. And that includes running to the phone booth to pick up the Malibu Stacy, which is Lisa's car, because it handles a lot better than the Canyon Arrow. It makes this next mission, which is Wolves, a lot easier.
I think, in theory, using the Canyon Arrow is faster because of the launches that you get on high FPS, but it's like insanely hard to do that optimally. I think Liquid does it occasionally, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it once.
This one is just follow the sedan,
Ideally,
pick
you
up
get
drops.
ideally you pick up the drops in good places so you can pick up coins along the way and you don't have to get them later on in slower places. As you can see, Liquid like flicks back his camera there because the sedan crashed on a garbage truck. Fortunately, the sedan is not driving very well for Liquid. It can be frustrating as a runner of the game to see the sedan just crash for no reason.
Oh, and that drop was terrible. Almost dropped it under the bridge.
So, before we get to near like the halfway point of the mission, there's a chance here that one of the last drops won't spawn and the sedan will do a loop. And we'll go back and drop it a second time, so we call it a 2-cycle. So hopefully we won't see that.
Yes.
And he got the drops in good places, so it won't happen. But if he drops that 9th drop around where Liquid is, like now, there's a chance he won't drop the 10th.
Yes.
I think it can happen with the 8th and 9th as well.
It can. I had that happen to me the other day. What
Oh,
happens is it drops one drop before the other one. So it'll drop the 9th drop before the 8th drop. And there's nothing you can do about it. What we do in this mission is you just, if you play a little bit farther back, there's a better chance that it'll give you drops in good places.
Yeah, I think as you noted earlier, with the way rubber banding works in follow missions, if you're farther back from the sedan, Derek might go for that here to play it safe. It slows him down a little bit, so that way once he's in the drop zone, you start slowing him down, and he has a better chance of dropping it earlier, similar to what we do with Snake in 3.5, how we try to block him or slow him down with rubber banding to make sure he drops it early enough so we don't have to cross the bridge. In this mission, it's a little more important that you get the drop early so he doesn't 2-cycle you.
Another interesting thing, I don't think we'll be seeing it from either runner because they're playing pretty fast, but in this mission only, there is a slight coding error where the bar is actually not what it seems, and if it is below a certain point, about a quarter of the way up, I think, and the drop appears, then it'll actually fail you instantly, and it's really annoying.
I don't actually think it's a coding error. It's like actually like a fail condition. So if one
Well,
drop spawns in and you're 100 meters away from the car in game, and he drops the next one, it'll just fail you instantly.
Yeah, I believe it was supposed to be, but maybe it is. Okay.
I don't know if it's
was
I
that
don't
it
know
was-
if it's an error or not. It doesn't seem like it should happen. There's like the bar definitely shouldn't be green if you fail the mission, and it's frustrating when it happens. So we call it like a fail glitch.
How I interpreted it was they set the wrong distance, but that might be just the way that I thought of it. Not entirely sure. It's annoying, is what it is.
So one of the reasons that both of them got the neighbors coins earlier with the Canyonero car at the very beginning of Marge is so they don't have to get it on foot here. It saves a couple seconds. And another reason is I can't explain to you why because I don't fully understand how wasps work. I don't know if anyone does, but it also gives you a chance at getting another wasp at the very end of Marge with your car, or it has a chance of spawning a wasp in this mission and making it follow you over to the next route, as we might see here.
Liquid just do walking on air.
Yeah, he does that like all the time now. I don't know if you can explain how that works or not. But
Okay,
it probably
so-
barely saves time there.
Yeah. So how walking on air works is if you tilt the camera up and zoom in, you actually deload the character, and when they are deloaded, they don't have gravity. So you can walk across air, essentially, and maintain the same height. So Liquid just did that to save probably fractions of a second, because he didn't have to jump
It
to
saves
the
him
seesaw.
from walking / jumping to the seesaw. He can just run to it.
Yeah. Really
And
interesting.
he was also
glitch.
able to manipulate the wasp at the Quickie Mart roof to following him to the gas station roof. I think just because he sprinted at it, it follows him over.
I'll do my best.
That's like the most logical explanation I can give you for why the wasp followed him.
Now we're into cola trucks. There's 3 cola trucks we have to defeat. Liquid gets him on the pole, which is very fast, and that was a very good destruction. That is a very hard strat. There's a couple backups that you can do for that one.
Should also note on Derek's end, because they at the end of is it 4 or 5, I believe, we may menu warp to get the Canyonero back for 4-7. It also gives wasps collision, so when Derek ground pounded the box, he also broke the wasp, which saves a little bit of time, and it's kind of cool.
Liquid having a lot of speed going over that roof, and he ends up collecting the red blazer card, which you don't need. But there's
Was
also
he
a
able
box
to get
up
the
there.
box as well?
No. He
Oh, yeah.
cleared the
Ideally, you
box
would get
by a
that.
mile.
Then.
Sometimes it's fun just to get cards.
Maybe he was showing off his 100% strats. No, he definitely wasn't. He's picking up this wasp. So this wasp is a little slow, but I mean, if you have low coins, it's probably definitely a safe bet. Liquid has pretty low coins, as it seems. Liquid
Yes.
tends to follow a very, very, very risky coin route, where if he misses coins early on, it'll lose him a lot of time.
Very disappointed in you. Are you blind?
I didn't see Derek's coins, but I believe they're doing pretty good. Liquid getting a beautiful third truck.
Yeah, that was able to destroy the third truck in 2 shots.
Yeah. Normally it takes a couple, but what you want to do is you want to hit him against the fence. He'll go over to the tree, and then you just slam the couple against the tree a couple times, and you're good.
Derek had a bit of a strange. He was able to get the pole strat, which is kind of hard to get on the first struck. It was a little strange, but it ended up working. I think
Yeah, that
resetting
was-
his car might have been a little slow. Maybe he loses a second, but from where he was, it was probably smart.
Yeah, it was definitely a smart move. It was interesting, but it worked.
And oh yeah, here's another scenario where at the end of the mission, there is a, I guess what we call it, like someone's chasing you. There's a name for it. Oh, Derek gets the
An escape.
blazer and the box. Wow. There's an
Oh.
escape, and if you just walk into the Simpsons house, you automatically escape Wiggum because it's in a completely other area on the map.
And lucky for us, that's exactly where you need to go to end the mission, so it's perfect. It's very fast.
So this last mission, 4-7 in March, is probably one of the hardest missions in the run to do optimally, because not only are you destroying 3 of the strongest cars in the game, but you're driving one of the hardest cars to drive in the game over a bunch of speed bumps and ramps and things like that.
Oh, do not fear. You will be reincarnated.
It got a bit of an awkward bounce. I think the car is gonna leave the tree, and it flips on him as well. The Canyon Arrow can be very frustrating to drive. Hopefully he's able to... There's not really a backup for this third car. You want to get him before this jump so you can save a little bit of time rather than going around it, which he's able to do.
Close, but he got it. I think one of the biggest things that makes okay people good at the game is just being able to back up the strats that you miss. If you're not able to back them up well,
Consistency.
you're gonna go slow.
So the Apu level is where coins tend to get probably the tightest, with the exception of like the end of the run. Just because you have to buy within a level or two, you have to not only buy a car for 50 coins, but you also have to buy a costume for 425. So it's at the end of this mission here that Liquid's on at the start of 5-2.
Liquid goes for a very risky ESS there to call back into Longhorn, and he almost failed the mission because of that in a traffic car, but he ended up pulling it out.
Yeah, I think that was discovered really recently to save time. I don't know exactly how much it saves, but there's also a... Oh, he's actually cutting it really close here as the traffic car pulls in front of him.
Oh yes, he didn't get... This is another mission where you can get 2-cycled, where drop just doesn't come in, but Liquid did not get 2-cycled, thankfully. It's very rare, but it can happen.
So I'm interested to see here what his coins are out of this mission after skipping the event at the end. He didn't have a choice to skip it. There's an event you can pick up at the very end of the mission for 16 coins if you get the drops in good places, but he needs about 925 overall, so he'll need 500 after buying this. 50, you said?
850 he had after the mission, so he's a little bit light on coins.
So in this mission, you pick up about 55 coins, probably with more with the coins you pick up on the ground. So he's going to be about 15 or 20 short. He's going to have to pick up something out of the way.
He might get the Vend.
Actually, if he picks up 10 more coins on the ground, he'll be fine if he gets the Wasp. He's cutting it very close here.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, that's a thing that can happen. As you drive up the town hall, you can just get, we call it getting pixeled. You drive into what we call like a 1 pixel.
Yeah, just
There's
a single
really no
pixel.
explanation for why it happens other than the game is programmed badly. Liquid has exactly 500 coins buying the car.
Perfect coin route. It's
Perfect.
a little bit scary.
The coins are going to be very tight from here on out from him, but he should be fine.
Derek's coins are looking very good.
Derek already has enough for the costume and almost the car as well, before picking up about 55, 60 coins at the end of the mission. Or the end of the next mission, I should say. Oh, we haven't even explained Baby Van yet. So this is 5-3. This is kind of hilarious. Oh, he gets a strat. No way. So it's kind of RNG whether or not this Baby Van car, as we call it, spawns in with wonky driving. And wonky driving is an effect that a car can have in the game where it's driving and the turning and handling specifically are just kind of all over the place. So it's really RNG. I think it's 50-50 whether he spawns in with good driving or bad driving. For Liquid, he had bad driving, but he was still able to kind of maneuver him and get a strat against the wall. If he has good driving, he drives in kind of straight lines, and if he has bad driving, he just drives in circles, and he's very hard to predict.
That one is a very awkward mission. Liquid handled it really well. We'll see what Derek gets, though.
Yeah, I believe the reason it happens to that car is because it spawns in on a very weird angle and it screws up how it drives. And Derek's able to get that wasp with his car as well. That'll save him a bit of time. I can't tell if he's catching up or not. I want to say he is, but I'm a little biased because I'm cheering for him.
So, for Baby Van, the way that it happened was it actually reads in a random memory address, which is it's just a value, and if it's a high value, I believe, then you get a good Baby Van, I think, and it's just terrible. It's an awful coding mistake. Something wrong happened, and Baby
And
Van was
then
born.
something like this happens, as you can see for Derek, where he just kind of turns at random. His driving doesn't look too bad, but he just kind of drives straight and then turns and then drives for no reason. It's really hard to get him and pin him against the wall. He actually missed the drop, so there's also another thing. It can either that drop will either despawn at random or it will just stay there and disappear, but it'll still physically be there. And I think it just disappeared in time for him to pick up another one. That was kind of lucky.
Yeah, that was really lucky.
So unfortunately, he didn't get a strat. We get a weird glimpse of the doctor there, the inside of his face. I don't know if you caught that.
I did. That's a fun one. This little piggy is a straightforward mission. Collect
That
drops.
can
and
be a
then-
bit of a scary mission. There's a follow at the end, and usually for someone like Liquid or Derek, it's pretty easy. But Wiggum drives very fast. If you crash, he can just pull away from you, and you can fail just like that.
Wiggin can also soft lock, which is
Yes,
really
and-
annoying.
It's a possibility in a lot of these missions,
Yeah.
especially this one with the garbage truck, 5-5. So this is another really hard mission to do optimally. Ideally, as you can see from Liquid here, he pushes the garbage truck so that it drops the second drop always around that area, and it doesn't take the turn left there. It goes right, which is where he's programmed to go after turning left. And it saves about like anywhere from probably 4 to 10 seconds, depending on what he does.
Yeah, this garbage truck likes to kind of go everywhere on the highway, and keeping him from running into the walls can save you a lot of time in the end.
Yeah.
It's just
There's also a possibility he misses a road trigger and has to drive back before he can drop one of the drops, or he can just kind of crash into walls like that. Luckily, it didn't really slow him down. So, and then the second half of this mission, you collect 25 garbage cans. So a lot of them you have to get on foot, unfortunately. You can actually get up there with your car, there's a way, but it doesn't really save time, and if it does, the risk reward really isn't worth it. I think it saves time in another category. I'm not 100% sure.
I've actually never seen that.
Yeah, you can take a ramp. There's a ramp to kind of Liquid's top right there. You'll see it later on. He'll take it at the very end, getting the last 19 to 23 drops. And with another car, the open wheel race car, or the fastest car in the game, you take the ramp and you launch up there. It's really cool.
That makes sense.
Oh no, Liquid takes the fire truck jump, but unfortunately on high FPS, you can get kind of really big launches like that at random, and he goes right over it. So ideally, you would park your car on the fire truck and just get out and warp back in after. But he has to kind of turn around. It probably loses about 5 or 10 seconds. It's kind of strange. I've never seen someone go over that. Usually, you don't have enough speed and you don't make it onto the fire truck.
Pretty weird. That's another thing we never discussed, is warping into cars. If you jump on top of a car and try and get in, it'll warp you inside. Most of the time, if things work as they should. But if you get in next to it, then in any character car, you'll actually just show an animation of them getting in, which is a little bit slower.
I think I mentioned that I mentioned something about how you warp into the traffic cars very briefly at the end of 3-2 when Liquid grabbed a traffic car. But another thing that saves time in some missions with the traffic cars is just that you can warp into any traffic car without jumping on top of it. Just
Yeah.
like little time saves here and there, but it adds up in these missions.
But we're
Liquid slams into Snake, which is optimal because you push him closer to the door and you warp straight into the DMV at the end of the mission.
we're actually done with traffic cars though, because all of our cars are now fast. So traffic cars are no more.
Yeah. We use the car built for Homer for the rest of these missions. One, because it's a required car. Two, because it's faster to just keep it from here on out. And it's a really fast and strong car. And I think the last two missions in Apu are both forced car missions where it forces another car upon you. So as you can see for Liquid, he's coming up on the hardest ride in the game probably, Armored Truck. And he's using the Bandit, which is Snake's car, as we saw earlier in the run.
Yeah.
So there's a follow at the beginning, he loses Wiggum, and the strat here is to push the armor truck so it blows itself up.
Yes.
It's very kind of finicky. Looks like he did it perfectly.
Of course.
Usually it goes well like that. Yeah, of course he does it perfectly. And it gives you the opportunity to pick up coins and things like that. If you want to take it from here.
Yeah, the armor truck just has a whole lot of health. And if he slams himself up against the wall on the stairs, then he'll go through the health really quickly. If he gets out of that strat or you don't get it, then you have to hit him against the wall on the highway, and it takes a long time. And will lose you anywhere from like 30 seconds to a minute. So
Whereas here,
that's just to
Liquid
get the
has...
strat.
He's able to take all of the shortcuts and drive straight back to the end of the mission as the armor truck blows himself up. There's also, if you go too far while you're driving away from him, there are scenarios where you can deload the area before he blows himself up. So that way he's driving against nothing and he won't blow himself up. Luckily, both of these runners like most definitely not do that because they know where these triggers are. But it's something you gotta look out for. If he decides to destroy himself very slowly and you drive too far. And there's also another escape at the end of the mission here. Both of the escapes are really easy. The strats we have for them are kind of just drive here and drive back, and you escape them. So that went very smoothly for Liquid, as Derek is coming up to the hardest part of the mission as well, where you try to get him stuck.
Traffic can sometimes just drive in your way, and it's impossible to get the truck in there.
You kind of called that, but he still is able to maneuver him in the strat.
Yep.
Like scenarios like that kind of show experience though for a runner like Derek, because a lot of the time for someone like me, if I see a traffic car pull in front of the truck, I panic and I choke and I maybe hit the brakes. Whereas Derek stays calm and he's able to guide him into the strat. Because I kind of talked over Liquid getting the curator destruction, a really strange one, and the cutscene skip as well. It's able to skip the longest cutscene in the game, which is about 2.5 minutes, which is, I mean, that's a huge fog for me. I don't know about you.
Yes, it feels really, really bad when you miss that one. Not like I've been there or anything.
Oh, we've all been there. So Liquid somehow has really, really good coins. I have no idea how. But
he got both the sit and rotate plus the police wasp.
Oh, and I think the way he routes the wasp now, he gets an extra one in Apu, which I think is optimal. I think more people will probably catch on to that soon.
I was
The
thinking
fact that
about
he
it,
can
honestly.
just barely buy the car built for Homer, and at the end of this mission that he's on here, ideally you want to have 600, and he's 50 over that. I don't know how he does it.
It's a madman. Oh. Armor truck going well for Derek. He's on to curator. See if he can also get a good curator strat.
So Liquid got like a strange one where he pushed him against a different wall that you normally would. There's two strats that we go for here. One, you push him against the fountain. There's like lion statues, and the other one, you just lead him into a wall, which is a little easier. Derek just misses the slightly faster strat. That one can be very hard.
That one's tough.
And he falls behind him as he's pushing him, but he's able to just lead him into like the second corner of the wall. Just
That was
barely
scary.
gets the destruction. Yeah, that was close, but gets it. Did Liquid do the? I wasn't.
Oh, I didn't see.
No. So if he did do the thing, I might have missed it. There's a new strat where what you do is you drive your car, the Globex car that he just bought, backwards into a wall, and you grab the crusty loot coins that are also in the Lisa level that I was talking about earlier. You grab those coins earlier than you normally would in this Bart level here. It's very strange how it works. I don't know if he got the strat. I was more worried about whether Derek would get the cutscene skip or not.
He's at 211 coins, so he must have.
Yeah, he probably did. So you get all the coins with your car earlier than you normally would. Ideally, you skip them and you just get a couple of them during when you blow up a car later on in this level. It blows up some of the boxes through the wall. But if he's able to get them all earlier, it's much faster, and he can skip like virtually everything from here.
Alright, Liquid's on to the best mission in the game, which is 6-3.
It's the most eventful mission, as we call it, I think. I think that's what we call it, right?
We call it uneventful mission. Because you just follow Frank around. But if you fail, it's a really big meme.
Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty straightforward. He drives in the same place every time, almost no matter what, unless he decides to stop lock and crash into a car. Which can happen. Very rarely.
Anything can happen in this game.
And Derek's gonna go for a safer coin route here, which is pretty standard actually at this point, with like top to even like mid runners to just get this box while you're following the Itchy and Scratchy truck in Studio A. And you warp back into the car by jumping on top of it to cut the corners as close as you can, because now you're playing catch up with the Itchy and Scratchy truck, but it gets you 30 coins early.
And it's 30 coins that anywhere else would be super slow.
Yeah, there's still one more big purchase in the speed run for all story missions, and that's the zombie card at the beginning of Homer 2, which is a required card for the second mission in Homer 2. They'll both be saving up for 500 coins from here for that.
Yeah, and you want to get just enough to barely buy it, because that's the fastest way.
Yeah, so for instance, with Liquid, he has really good coins, so he's able to skip a couple coins like right before buying it. There's the neighbors coins that we saw earlier on in Homer 1 at the very beginning and at the beginning of March. So he should be able to skip those, because I think those are a little slow. But ideally, or not ideally, but typically you would pick those up. And other coins, we'll point them out here and there probably, because Derek will be picking them up and Liquid probably won't.
Yeah. Derek chooses to sit on top of his car for a second. It just guarantees that Frank won't crash into a pole there. Saves a tiny bit of time.
I believe the reason that is because we were talking about how rubber banding works when you're doing a follow mission in your car, but it works slightly differently when you're not in a car. I think it's non-existent, and the car actually drives at a set speed.
Yeah.
So he's just guaranteed to drive just slow enough not to crash into a pillar that he tends to crash into a lot. As Liquid comes up to the dump truck mission where you try to push him and get him stuck around a pole, doesn't look like he gets the strat. Yeah, I don't. This looks like a bit of a disaster. If he's able to pick up these drops,
I don't think he is going to. What is happening?
he's able to push him against another wall.
Okay. How?
If he's able to get the last drop he spawned, so unfortunately playing catch up now. And the worst part about when this happens with this mission is you're driving farther and farther away from the checkpoint at the end of the mission that you have to go to. He's gonna go for. Oh, okay. I thought he was gonna go for the other version of boat jump, but he's not. He's just gonna take the reset, the boat reset, which is probably smart from there.
He goes for a boat jump in 6-7 actually.
So hopefully we'll see Derek get the main strat that we go for there, so you can see the time save difference, how close you actually get all 6 of the drops from the checkpoint. You really are from him when you get the strat. This is another kind of hard mission in part 2. Call it FMJ. You really just want to push Skinner and kind of lead him into the Krusty Lou Studios and blow him up against the wall so that you pick up about anywhere from like 20 to 50 coins, depending on where you blow them up against the wall. Depending on if
That is
Liquid
a lot
actually
of
already
damage.
picked up those coins with this car, though, you may or may not get any. Yeah, and that's like the strat done to a T.
Perfect. He got a lot of damage at the beginning.
Yeah, so at the beginning you can hit him against a little pillar as well and get some damage. And it doesn't really slow him down either.
And he didn't get any coins, so he got all the coins already. Guaranteed.
Whoa, got him.
So Derek's coming up on Duff Truck.
Oh, he gets the strat.
Perfectly.
And Liquid's in set to kill, so I forgot I had push to talk on, so I was muted as I was explaining it, but Liquid actually skipped 3 drops and took a shortcut at the pier. So he's gonna be racing to get those drops on the way back. Should be fine with the timer though. And getting them on the way back and taking this ramp he's coming up to here a little awkwardly and doing a reset actually saves about 10 seconds. It's usually pretty easy to do. Sometimes you get some strange physics on high FPS and launch at a strange angle and hit a wall, but it looks like you did it fine. And you kind of just spawn on top of the 23rd drop and get the other 2. And take this little boat reset here.
Eat my dust, dust eaters.
And Derek's also able to get the FMJ strat. Pretty similar to Liquid's as well. Very nice.
It took Derek 1 extra hit, but still very clean.
Simpson at your service.
So depending on if Liquid gets this final cutscene skip here, which is the shortest cutscene skip in the run, or the shortest cutscene in the run, and what route Liquid decides to take in Homework 2, we could see anywhere from a close race to Liquid saving like over a minute here, depending on what he decides to do. And if he makes this jump, oh no, oh my goodness, oh that
Okay. That was
if he goes for boat jump here, this will be very close if he doesn't get it. I don't think he needs it.
Boy, I oughta.
No, he's just gonna skip it.
Yeah, he doesn't need it this time. Yeah. In this mission, you can also jump onto the boat, get 2 free boxes, which Derek might go for at the end of set to kill here for a few extra coins.
Liquid gets the cutscene skip. So that's another 45 seconds that you could possibly lose if you don't pause on the correct frame. It's very, very easy, actually. I don't know why anyone would ever struggle with a strat like that.
Obviously, we're joking. Everything in this game is pretty difficult to perform consistently, and both these runners are outstanding at what they're doing. It is a hard game to run.
The more and more you play this game, the more you realize that there's a lot less RNG than you think.
Yeah.
Things like where pedestrians spawn and where traffic car spawns are actually quite consistent, depending on where you are looking and where you flick your camera. Your camera's like a physical thing in the game and affects when and where pedestrians and cars spawn.
Now, Derek got the boat jump very cleanly.
I missed that. Very nice. So you can do that in this mission here as well, which I think Liquid usually does, but its coins were good enough where you could just skip it.
He needs another 5 coins, but it'll just hit a few trees, maybe a phone booth.
Yeah, he was
No,
able to
not a
skip
phone booth.
neighbors, I think. Not 100% sure.
Yeah.
And 1 coin over. Won't be needing that.
Hey, you piece of
Yep.
cake.
So
And
now that
another
he's
thing we should point out, just as Derek gets the coins for it, is that during this race, the alien car, as we call it, is programmed very poorly and will drive onto the beach and break a box for you, and you get the coins for it. And that I believe both of them were able to get that beach box for free.
Derek's gonna do a little strat that he developed to give you less pauses on the cutscene skip, and he still took 3, which is still really good. And he gets it, which is nice. So Liquid's actually gonna try and go out of bounds here with the zombie car.
No, I don't think he's going to. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
Wait, oh no, he's going to. Never mind. He doesn't
definitely
do
will.
resets. No,
Yeah.
he is.
He
This is
So-
a fun one.
You're able to launch yourself over a reset trigger on the bridge and land out of bounds. We'll see if he gets it.
It might work. Oh, just short.
Yeah,
That's
he
unfortunate.
barely clipped the trigger. So he wasn't able to get out of bounds, he just has to finish the mission normally. But he will get out of bounds in the next mission.
There's also a risk here when you drive really close to this alien car that he will crash on the bar in there. Doesn't. Very nice. So ideally, what you would do, I think as Bam was saying, is you get out of bounds, and it saves about anywhere from like 20 seconds to a minute in this mission. That sounds right?
Yeah, depending on how fast you do this mission.
In this mission, you bonk your car against a wall and then try to reverse and climb up the wall out of bounds.
Yes, that didn't give him any lift on his back end. There we go.
So the higher the FPS that you play on, the harder this mission in particular is. The physics tend to be more consistent. Going up the wall, especially on the cages, and the collision tends to be more consistent. So if you're close to the cages on a lower FPS, you have a better chance of phasing through it and it not bothering you. And you also have a better chance overall of just getting over the wall.
Liquid's having a bit of a struggle here, but he does end up getting out of bounds. So now that he's out, he can just drive all the way back to the school with no problems. Doesn't have to risk hitting anything, blowing up the waist.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be too happy with that one. It probably, combined with not getting out of bounds in the first mission, it probably lost him about a minute. As he kicks the ladies in frustration.
Yes.
So the standard route here is to actually walk over to, I guess we'll point it out when Derek does it, but you warp back into the school and you maintain the out of bounds by not mission warping, and you drive back to the power plant. Liquid does a different strat, which is faster overall, but much harder, where you have to launch out of bounds, inbounds, in the back of the school, and then on the way back in the next mission, you have to do another wall climb, this time forwards instead of backwards with the zombie car. As he... I wonder if that might have worked. I don't think it would have. He crashes against the wall and got launched backwards. Gonna go for it again.
Yeah, this is a really cool out of bounds. It's the newest one to be added, and I think only Liquid does it right now because it is insanely hard.
Yeah, the risk reward at the time you do it in the run is very, very hard to justify. And I guess
And that
unless
was
you have world
perfect.
record. And
Yeah.
that one, yeah, was perfect.
Derek just going for the 7-3 wall climb. He got on the wall. He's probably going to make it out. Yeah, that looks perfect. Beautiful. So he took that a little bit faster than Liquid, so he might save a bit of time there.
Liquid does a bit of parkour, climbing up to talk to Mr. Burns in his lair. These little trapdoors here, he's running around. He sets a couple off. You'd hate to see one of them fall into those trapdoors.
Be kind of funny though.
So, as I was talking about earlier, Derek's gonna walk over to this zombie race guy and cancel the race to get the 70s sports car back, which is what Homer drives in the second Homer level, Homer 2. That way he can just walk to Lisa and talk to her and drive back while maintaining the out of bounds that he was able to get in 7-3.
Liquid got launched off the wall there, which is super unfortunate. But this one might work. Nope, he got launched off there too.
Yeah, this is a really strange one. You reverse into the wall and then drive forwards up it. If it works first try, it saves like probably 20 seconds overall, maybe more.
There he goes.
Yeah, it works
There
this
he is,
time.
and he's out.
It's able to showcase it though in this PAX event, which is really nice to see because it's a new strat.
Yeah. So Derek has to park at a certain place here because that wall is super thin. And if he walks up to it, he can actually get back in his car now. And that car is still out of bounds, so he maintains out of bounds here.
We come up to the final two levels on Liquid's end as Derek finishes up 7-4. So we also do a strat at the end of 7-4 where we jump and we alt-tab out of the game. That way it pauses, unpauses. It's the only way to pause, unpause during a mission complete. And you can keep running throughout the mission complete, which saves probably a second or two.
Do you want to explain Jump Zone? Because Liquid's going to do it.
I can try my best. So there's a small, like 1 to 2 foot area here that he's parking into that is called a jump zone. Jump zones are in front of like ramps and stuff like that, pretty much, and it gives your car the abilities to where it has strange abilities. It has like unlimited speed and things like that, depending on the car. So, for instance, with the Bandit itself, is the only car in the game, which is what Liquid is driving here, that has unlimited speed when it's in a jump zone. So if you give it the jump zone abilities and you have an AI car push it out of the jump zone while you're not in it and you warp back into it, for some strange reason it maintains that jump zone while you're driving it. So it gives you the ability to pretty easily, as he gets its second try here, launch out of bounds similar to what he tried in 7-1. 7-2, not 7-1.
Yeah.
I hope I covered most of it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So what Derek did, really hard to keep track of both of these people. What Derek did was he had to get into a traffic car, pick up the waste, and then get back into his car. And that traffic car, when it respawns, it still has the waste, which is really cool. Which is what he did for his out of bounds in 7-5. For his 7-6, he does what's called cemetery Oh, nope, he's going for jump zone. Thought that Derek did resets, but okay.
I think he probably knows he's behind at this point, and jump zone is about probably 6 to 8 seconds faster optimally if he gets it first try. That's probably enough to justify going for it from his perspective.
Yeah. So what you can also do is you can reset your car at certain points, and what it will do is keep you out of bounds, and then you can make this jump from a different angle, and it can be a little bit more consistent depending on which one you like.
So
very up in the
Liquid
air.
is I was watching Derek try to get out of bounds. Liquid is inbounds right now, Bam. Do you know what happened?
I didn't see.
I don't. Did he?
Oh, I think that he may have hit Grandpa on the way back.
Oh, I see. So
Grandpa wasn't able to talk to Grandpa and had to do the last mission inbounds.
that makes sense.
Because he wasn't able to start the mission.
If you knock one of the pedestrians, or in this case Grandpa, who he needed to speak to start the very last mission, which he's on now, this actually gives Derek a slight chance if he blows up the waste, which we'd hate to see. But if you hit or kick with your car or kick one of the pedestrians while out of bounds, they'll either fly up into the sky or fly into the void below you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So if Ben was right, I don't know if you saw it or not, what happened to Grandpa.
do.
But if Liquid hit Grandpa into the void, he would have had to mission warp, therefore putting him back in bounds and making him have to drive the long way back to the power plant. He's also doing a strat here where if you have a full hit and run meter in a forced car mission such as 7-7 and you get out of your car, it gets rid of the meter completely. So you can continue to hit objects and pedestrians as you please and go on a rampage. Or hit and run, as the game is called. And this actually got quite close at the end. Hopefully Liquid's able to close this out. The scary thing about these waste missions is if you hit a wall too fast, you blow up the waste and have to drive all the way back to the power plant. This is the last mission. Hate to see that here. All he has to do is get into the beam.
You can also hit a hearse. And
Oh, yeah.
sometimes the hearses can dodge in front of you, and you have no choice but to blow up the waste, which is really annoying.
And he does it. Gets into the beam. 125 flat.
And
Very
yep,
nice time. Derek
Yep.
is not too far
Perfect.
behind. Yeah, that's time.
Eat nuclear death, you effeminate wriggling spacewads!
And will Derek make the jump? This saves like probably 6 seconds jumping into the beam there rather than driving in because you
Yeah.
the transport
Cars
up to
up
the beam
higher.
is quite slow. Yeah. Derek gets into the beam though, 125, 26.
Time for Derek.
Very nice.
End up dying in a spaceship crash.
Both very good runs. One goal that we shoot for is sub 130.
Dad, I'm really proud of you
Getting
for rescuing us all
a
from that
125
alien
is
Did that really happen?
absolutely
That was a
insane.
bad dream
Both
after
these
you
runners
told me
are
bro hot
very,
brother.
very good.
No, homie. You're the
It's just a walk in the park for these guys. Let's be real. I wish I
It-
could play the game that fast.
It's a race. No reset, and they both get 125. They make it look easy.
Yes, very well done, Liquid and Derek. That was a very entertaining race. Thank you, Bamford and Potato, for the commentary. It was also very good. Complemented the race quite well.
Oh,
That's
thank you.
1 point for Australia in the Oz versus the World competition of totally nothing at stake, and we swear there's no prize at the end of this for them. Don't take it seriously. Up next, we'll have Tony Hawk's Underground by our very own Nace. In the meantime, we'll go into an intermission and get everything all set up. Where Oz speedruns, and this is a mini marathon of Oz versus the World held for PAX Online. Just to make sure that we still give PAX some content, as we usually would do a live event for PAX Oz, but that wasn't a thing this year. So, we don't want to leave them high and dry. So we helped organize this event for them to showcase some of our finer runners and games, as well as having them race against some international runners, since PAX is not just PAX Oz, it's PAX Online is most of the PAXs together. We're raising money for Cure Cancer Australia. And just a reminder that there will be a small surprise at the end of the marathon at midnight AEST tonight. Thank you all, and we'll transition to intermission.